Hey guys, welcome back to Pretentious Cinephile 1982. We are back with episode title, I'm not sure. That's how well researched I am prior to the recording of this episode. Going to be a super quick one, just like the last one. The last episode was a checkup episode, check-in, or catch-up, if you will, on what I've been watching from the year. I believe we covered Mandalorian and Grogu briefly, as well as Disclosure Day, and all the TV shows I've been watching. In this episode, gonna check back in with what I promised last time, and that's gonna be my thoughts overall on The Wire, even though I have yet to watch the final episode, but I have enough in my bag, in my head sponge called my brain, that I can probably give you a somewhat shortened, abbreviated, thorough analysis of my thoughts on the entire series, and when I saw it first and compared to now, what I think about it now, and talk about the movies I've been watching as well. Finally got around to seeing Obsession, the Curry Barker Blumhouse horror film phenomenon that has gripped the cultural zeitgeist, if you will, as well as Backrooms, another one that's kind of took the world by storm. Two YouTubers kind of one-upping Jon Favreau and even Steven Spielberg, if you will. Don't know if it one-upped the Odyssey, probably not. He's probably too big of a craftsman and hotshot for that, but we'll get into that as well. We'll talk about the Odyssey as well. I saw that a couple weeks ago. Gearing up to see Spider-Man Brand New Day, possibly tomorrow. So I wanted to wait until that came, but it might have been a bloated episode so far already. So let's just get right into it, guys. All right. So you can catch future or past episodes. Sorry, I'm all over the place here today, guys. But you can watch past episodes on the YouTube. Just type in Pretentious Cinephile 1982. Check us out on Pinterest, Pretentious Cinephile 1982. Probably got some cool new Odyssey film strips, IMAX film stills up on there to showcase. Not mine personally, but ones that I have picked from the interwebs. A really cool popcorn bucket as well that comes with the Odyssey. That sold out IMAX camera bucket. Everything from the Odyssey is just selling out, isn't it? Like tickets for the 70mm IMAX screenings have been sold out from pre-sales last year, so don't expect for me to catch that anytime soon either, but I'm hoping to catch it before its run ends. I believe in August 20th is what the website, or even the AI says on the Googles. So if you guys are planning to watch it sometime before its run ends, check it out before August 20th. That's locally for me in Irvine, so I'm not sure if City Walk or wherever you guys live might change. Just look it up. But if you're a local Southern California guy like me, Irvine Spectrum, that's August 20th, 2026 is when the last showing of 70mm true IMAX presentation of the Odyssey is going to be showing. Let's get into The Wire, shall we? So The Wire is a HBO series, crime drama, one of its flagship, first series, along with The Sopranos, Oz. Could even say, I don't even know what you would put in there. True Blood, 6 Feet Under, Entourage, all the classic 2000s. But I remember watching. This is how old I am. Well, I didn't watch it when it aired because I didn't have HBO. I didn't even have cable when I was a teenager or a young adult growing up. So, but I remember watching. Remember when Netflix had mail-in DVDs, guys? Before streaming. That's how I watched The Wire. When I had a Netflix subscription. I don't now. I just piggyback off of other people's accounts. Well, you can't do that anymore for Netflix, but I don't have Netflix, long story short. But when I had it, I watched the DVDs, probably like 5 years removed from the fifth and final season ish when I watched it. I was trying to just catch up with all the pop culture phenomenon, the zeitgeisty shows, and I watched it, and of course I read all up about it, how it's just like this renowned, like the best TV show of all time. And of course, watching it with that in mind, it's kind of give it a bloated, I guess, persona or reputation. And I watched it thinking, like, I kind of don't get it. I could see the procedural aspects and the sociological kind of study of it, from a macro, like, film studies perspective. Like, oh, that's kind of, objectively pretty, for lack of a better synonym, objective perspective. But very docu style, very kind of, docu, fly in the wall, cinema verite. Like, it's not very stylized. It's not going to be like one person's perspective. You're going to have like trippy druggy, induced Requiem for a Dream or anything type of stylizations. And that kind of bummed me out. I was just like, I don't know what I was expecting when I was watching it for the first time, but I was just like, it's kind of unstylish. It's just kind of presents it like very matter of factly, very cold, very clinical way of showing all aspects of, like urban Baltimore, civic politics, and the politics of obviously politicians in later seasons, but like, newsroom reporters, newspaper writers, the school district, the docks, the port workers in the second season. Of course, that's one of my favorite seasons. And then, of course, the politics of the ranks of the, I guess for lack of a better term, the police officers, the criminal justice system, the local district police. And of course, we got, the first season was the towers, the low-rises, just the bottom kind of level drug dealers, just the runners, the lookouts. And then we got, the top level drug kingpins, the Stringer Bell, Barksdales. And I don't want to get into all the details, but overall, when I see it now, I could see, like, understanding economics and understanding, how the way the city works and politicians and state funding and budgets and how it trickles down to, to the cities and to the districts, state's attorney, district attorney, lawyers, defense attorneys, knowing a lot more about that. That stuff just flew over my head when I was younger, right? It's just like criminals and police. They catch the criminals. That's all they need to do. I didn't understand anything about, how McNulty like went over the ranks. He went straight to the judge, and that really caused a lot of, conflict within his superiors. And then, but then, that's part of his character, because he usually he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, so he always tries to get his way, and that's like the charm and also like his downfall, or his kind of like character flaw. His character flaw is his character kind of thing. And yeah, all the characters are just so phenomenal, so just deeply, I don't want to say overwritten, but just like dense. And I was reading up about, I think not Richard Price, David Simon. I believe he was a journalist, so that surprises nobody. Well, it surprises me. Does not surprise me at all. Just seeing how the way that series is portrayed. Just all levels, though, of everything is just written so superbly and realistically. And for me, sometimes it gets a little convoluted and too smart. I feel like every episode, sometimes I don't get, like, what the senator's doing. Like, I don't get this little Clay Davis, like, what his scam is, where he's, like, pocketing PACs, super PACs, political campaign contributions, and he's like, you know, using it for his own benefit and scams, like real estate scams, and he's like, he's also, scamming drug dealers because he knows that they can't prosecute him because they're criminals, kind of thing. It's like, I always have to look that stuff up. Like, hey, Gemini or whatever, Grok, explain to me what happened in episode blah 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 blah, season this, and without spoiling for future episodes. And that's a little frustrating for me. That's still like, I understand it better, but I still completely don't understand everything. So that's a little bit of, I don't know if I like that or not. I know it's pretty genius, and you need to really be into it. Like, you can't be on your phone while watching it. Probably why I was on my phone a couple of times. That's probably why I was just like, hey, what happened here? I don't really understand. Probable cause, getting, wiretaps, illegal wiretaps, and, overfunding, or I don't forget what happened with the school district, but they just they were not overfunded, but they were under budgeted somehow. I think they exhausted the resource, like the previous administration. Okay, that's enough for now. You guys can tell I'm super into it because I'm like deep into season 5. I got one episode left, and shit is hitting the fan. The other thing I don't really like about the series is it's not like you gotta watch the next episode, right? It's like, it's a slow burn, and like the next thing maybe like episode 5 or 6, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm invested with these characters now. If you get that far, you're just like, okay, now I gotta really know what happens, because I gotta know what happens to Greg's and Bubs and Carver and Herc and Daniels, everyone. Okay, I'm not gonna name everyone, but you guys can tell I'm super into it. So my verdict is, initially, when I first saw it, did not like it, probably just because I didn't understand it. It's too young. And same thing when I first rewatched it again too. I'm like, what's the big deal? It's just so cold and clinical and not like engaging. Like, it's not like The Sopranos. It's not like Breaking Bad. It's not like even some of my favorite shows, Mr. Robot or something. It's just thinking off the top of my head. It was just like kind of, I don't want to say gimmicky, but just like super dopamine inducing. I guess the subject matter really matters too. But it's like a creeper. It creeped up on me. I'm like, and I love it now. So it's a weird relationship I have with The Wire. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. You got to really want to know about the sociological aspects of society, of criminality, of law, of civic duty, I guess, for lack of a better, I can't really think of another term, but you guys know what I mean. And trickle down effect. I'm like, because I watch all these other shows that came after it, like The Good Wife, and even Walking Dead, and I see all the like Justified. I see all these actors that they like use from even The Wire and like Band of Brothers. And it feels like they're paying homage to like, those shows are so good that we need to use those actors. It's like this legacy effect of like, The Wire is just so good that we need to like The Good Wife is more dramatic and operatic, legal drama. It's procedural, but case of the week kind of thing. But it's very like civic minded like that too. It has like the spirit of The Wire that I really find fascinating. That its influence is just all over most good TV shows. Whether they like it or not, maybe just subconsciously. Anyway, that's what I think of The Wire. Let me think of what my favorite season. I think season 2, the port workers. Season 4, I didn't like because it was all the kids and school district. But I really like season 4 too. Marlo. I don't want to spoil anything, but Stringer Bell. I love him and Barksdale, but Marlo's kind of this like silent assassin killer type personality. He's not an actual killer. I mean, he's more like a Michael Corleone. He's like a genius. Like, he doesn't get his hands dirty type of, but like he gets shit done. Like nobody fucks with him. His reputation is like, anyway. Okay. Overall, probably season 2 is my favorite. Season 4 as a creeper. Season 5, I don't know if I like it because I don't like the newspaper aspect of it, but I do like how they're wrapping things up and how shit's coming to a head. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil anything. But that's The Wire, guys. I've been watching that. I've been kind of getting back into Band of Brothers as well. That's why I mentioned all the actors from there. But I don't know, I'm not super into it. You know, it's like a continuation almost of Saving Private Ryan, but more episodic. Okay, so I'm going to talk about now Obsession, and the title of the show is Obsessed with Obsession. So you guys probably thought I was going to talk about Obsession the whole time, but no. Sorry, I'm going to just talk about it super quickly because I don't know. I feel like I should dedicate a whole episode to it, and I should have with calling this episode Obsessed with Obsession, but I am obsessed with Obsession, guys. I watched it once on digital, and I immediately wanted to watch it again. I never had that feeling. I went on the Reddits, and I saw all the fandom, saw the theories, and I was just like deeply entrenched with the lore and the fandom. And it is, you've seen this before. It's the monkey's paw, like very Twilight Zone-esque, very Black Mirror-esque. I told a friend of mine if Black Mirror was more like horror oriented, like Blumhouse. This was a Blumhouse feature. The closest thing I could think of with Black Mirror is the Demon 79. It's almost like a spin-off. It was like a Red Mirror, I think they even called it. But I love high concept. The concept is just fantastic. Like some movies that have high concepts like that, they kind of just like use it as an excuse to hook the viewer or hook studios, producers to fund them, and then they just kind of bungle it, if you will. And then this movie just like completely explores it all the way through, completely fucking engaging. The leads are incredible, no-name actors. Indy Neverett is probably going to be Neveretti is going to be a favorite. I think she should be at least nominated for an Oscar, at least for an Indie Spirit Award, Golden Globe, hopefully. But it really depends on the way they campaign her. The movie and critics everywhere are definitely campaigning her popularity and her performance enough. So I think that alone, she can ride that alone to a nomination. But enough of that. Let me just talk about. I can't really pinpoint why. Maybe I just like the actors. I liked Indy Neverett. She's very pretty, very eye-catching, but also like that idea of. I guess I'm kind of like Bear. I'm like soft-spoken. I guess alphas would call me a cuck, but I think I can hold my own. I've had girlfriends and relationships, but I really identify with that longing aspect of she's out of my league, I can't get her, like I wish she could be mine. So in that regard, I think it's like very personal to me, and I related to his plight completely. And so the fact that, minor spoilers here, the fact that he's kind of like becomes like very flawed, his reasoning is just very immoral, right? It's like he doesn't see the errors in his ways, and then even when he sees that she's suffering, she's like almost possessed, right? She's possessed by this spirit that he wished for. And I read this theory that spirit in her that's taking over her body is like a newborn spirit. It's like she's like a baby spirit, but trapped into this fully adult woman. That's why there's a lot of reasoning why that I can see that really checks out for a lot of the scenes that happen. She's very like precocious kind of in the way she sees the world and her reactions and what have you, and obviously like her obsession, quote unquote, and her kind of possessiveness, her clinginess is very childish, so, but I digress. Yeah, but the way he sees that she's trapped, there's this one frightening scene. Again, minor spoilers, watch it, guys, before listening to the rest of this. But the scene where, they're sleeping, and she's like, the spirit is kind of went to sleep, and then the Nikki character is like seeping through almost, like she can't move, but she's like bear, help me, like she's just trying to like plead with him, do something. Like that idea, it's almost like very Get Out-esque of like, you're in the sunken place, you're just paralyzed, and she's just like, kill me now, please kill me. And he's just like, he can't even fathom that. He's just like so self-centered, so selfish in his desire of like, he wants her and he wants to see this through. He even like, anyway, that scene where she's like, kill me, please kill me, like, and he's like, what are you talking about? I can't kill you, like. And even, the way he's just like trying to correct, like adjust his wish is just like, just so. But the thing is, like, I can relate to that. I'm like, is it a bad thing? Like, what's so bad about loving me? Like, he's still relatable. He's not like far gone. He's not like Tony Soprano or something. Nice callback there, right? But yeah, the ending, very Romeo and Juliet-esque. I thought they were both gonna die, like, taking the poison, and then, one of them wakes up and he's like, no, don't die, and then Juliet takes the poison. I'm not gonna mention who, to leave some kind of mystery there, but okay, so that was like mad spoiler, that was a major spoiler there. So anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. You guys watch it. Let me know what you think. I love it. I love it so much. I'm probably gonna watch it at least once or twice again this year. I wanted to watch it with a buddy of mine. I watched it alone and was like, I fucking love this movie. This movie fucks so hard. I'm gonna use that term a lot now, guys. I got it from Silicon Valley. Russ Hanneman, that guy fucks. I've been saying that a lot. This movie fucks, but it really does, guys. It fucks hard. It's a rapist. All right, that went too far. But Backrooms. Let's talk about Backrooms, the other kind of pulp culture phenomenon that everyone's talking about. I saw that recently, so that's a little bit more fresh in my mind. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. It's very retro, very Cronenberg, very even Lynchian. So, like, I'm a huge fan of David Lynch, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just too overhyped for me, and I didn't get why it was so, beloved and acclaimed. But that's just me. It is a trip. It is kind of like, we call it like fourth dimension-y, or like he goes through a portal. Very Videodrome-y, that's the Cronenberg, but also like the body horror aspect. Yeah, the ending of that movie is pretty frightening. It's like, what? She's trapped? That's all I'll say. That's ambiguous enough, isn't it, guys? But it was cool. The thing that was missing, I think, when I was comparing, this doesn't deserve comparison. It shouldn't be compared that way, but when I was thinking about Obsession and Backrooms, and why I wasn't obsessed with Backrooms as much, it's probably like the romantic, like, or not romantic, but like, I wasn't obsessed with any girl in that. Like, I wasn't infatuated with anyone. So I guess that has a lot to do with, it's very like base, but it is a factor. I mean, if you look at like short form dramas nowadays, they have like or even like telenovelas or soap operas back in the day, or even today. It's just like, you need like eye-catching cast, that's good. But that's just me. But I'd still highly recommend Backrooms. I forget the director's name. He's also a YouTuber, and I think he even was based on one of his YouTube series, and that is Backrooms. A24, man. A24 is on fire. I love them. They did a lot of stuff I adore, from the Safdies, Good Times, Uncut Gems, Spring Breakers, one of their early ones, one of my faves. Obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Moonlight, Backrooms, or I think Backrooms became one of the highest grossing A24 films. So it usurped Marty Supreme, which recently took the title last year. Another Safdie title there. But the drama earlier was really good. I don't think it did gangbusters like numbers like Backrooms, but worth mentioning. I love the drama as well. All right, let's talk about the Odyssey, guys. Okay, I don't want to talk about too much, and I will save my top 5 Nolan films for the next episode. leaves something to look forward to, right? But okay, I did not see it on IMAX. Hopefully, when I do, I will report back. I'll have a much more thorough opinion about the film. But I saw it in a regular screening opening night. You know, I wanted to see it badly just to avoid spoilers, and I wanted to know what people were thought about it, and wanted to read stuff without not being afraid of spoilers, pretty much. About an hour 50, 2 hours of this movie, it is a journey. It is definitely basically like an adventure. This guy's trying to get home. If you guys have read the epic poem by Homer, you would know that. I didn't read it when I was in school. I didn't know anything about Greek mythology, anything. I just know about Troy and the Trojan horse, Helen of Troy. Very basic, like just rudimentary knowledge, right? So the whole movie I was confused. I didn't know why they're fighting. I don't know why the war broke out. I don't know what's going, who's who, like, because it's such a diverse cast, which was cool. But I'm like, who's who? Like, who are the Greeks? Who are the the Mediterraneans? I don't know. But I was confused the whole time, and uh, and honestly, I thought it was a bit of a slog. The first 2 hours, I was just like, what's the point? It's like, okay, in my mind I was already rationalizing why I didn't like it. I'm like, you know what? I just don't like sword and sandal epics. I don't like historical epics. Every shot was stunning, even though I was in an IMAX. But for me, I was like kind of imagining what it would look like if the aspect ratio had expanded. I was like, even though it was cropped, I was like, this is amazing. But it wasn't until the last hour, the third act, the last 45 minutes, was just, I was on pins and needles. I was just like, I sat upright, and I was just like fully engaged. And it became like, minor spoilers here, guys, for the Odyssey. I'm not going to divulge details of what happens, but it becomes like a revenge epic. Like, Odysseus becomes motherfucking Batman, bro. He becomes the Dark Knight. There was one point of Oppenheimer, I remember, when he's just like lacing up his fedora, and it's all like laid out on the bed, and it looked like a shot from the Dark Knight, or the Dark Knight Rises. It looked like he was Batman. He was basically like immortalized like as a superhero in that movie. Same thing with Odysseus here. I'm like, and then that's when it changed for me, and that's when I said, okay, okay, like Larry Dave, okay, I see you now. I see you, movie. I get that. All made sense to me now. All that long-winded journey was a setup for that moment. Like, we had to endure that with him to get to this moment. And I'm like, all right, I see you, movie. I fucking see you. This movie fucks. So, long story short, probably misunderstood it, misinterpreted it in the beginning, or maybe I was just in the wrong frame of mind to watch that. I was kind of hungry. I didn't, eat anything before. Maybe I was just like, hurry up, movie, like, get to the point. What's your point? I guess that's how I was kind of reacting to the movie the whole time. And then when it finally arrived to its point, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get you now. So that's my anecdote of my viewing, my interpretation of the Odyssey. The ending changed it for me, for sure. I was just like, this is a great movie. I want to watch it again. Probably going to be on my top 5 Nolan films. Got to bump something, but at least 5 or 4. Peaks at 4, maybe even 3. It depends on the mood I'm in, right? Very interchangeable with whatever spot it would bump. But that's going to be it for me, guys. That's The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan. It's in IMAX and regular cinemas, Dolby cinemas. I don't want to sound like I'm, an influencer plugging the movie, but you're going to see it anyway. What am I just wasting my breath for? But again, if you guys want to see it in IMAX, probably going to be sold out. The real, IMAX 70, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be there till August 20th for my local Irvine theater cinemas. So get out and see it while you can, or not. Just stay home so I can see it with a less packed audience. Fat chance there. That's going to do it for me, guys. For next time, I may watch some Nolan films that just, I'm in that mood of, I got to reacquaint myself now with some classic Nolan films. So I might even go back to The Dark Knight. I haven't seen that in a while. I was watching trailers of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises with my buddy Chuck, and we're just like, man, when was the last time? I haven't seen it in so long. I used to watch it a lot, so I took a break from it. So I might go back and watch that. Inception, haven't seen that in a while either. Definitely gonna watch his most recent films, Tenet, Oppenheimer, and I'm definitely gonna rewatch the Odyssey. So let me know what you guys think of the Odyssey. Let me know what you guys think of Obsession, Backrooms, and what do you think of The Wire? Were you kind of confounded by it as I was initially? What's your favorite TV show? Mine's The Sopranos, so I don't even need to think about it there. But also probably gonna watch, definitely gonna watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. So stay tuned for that. I'm also gonna watch Supergirl. It's queued up right now. I'm about to watch it on my home theater. Just dropped on digital after a month in the theaters. I think it bombed pretty bad, so unfortunately that kind of sucks. But I'll let you guys know what I think of it. I think it should be pretty fun. I love the James Gunn universe so far. Peacemaker, Superman. So until then, I guess that's some homework for you guys. Some Christopher Nolan films. Maybe watch all of them. He got like 12 movies. I'm not going to watch any of his early movies because I probably watched those a lot previously. So at least Inception, at least Interstellar, at least Dunkirk, at least Tenet, at least Oppenheimer. That's a lot of at leasts. But alright guys, that's it from me, pretentiouscinephile1982. Check us out on YouTube, Pinterest. And I'll be signing off for now. See you guys next time. Or I'll see you at the movies. No, that's not going to be my catchphrase. But see you guys. Bye.